You need both hands. You hold this paper.
I just,
It gives you better sound. Hold it like this.
yeah, I know. It's on.
You record it?
Yeah.
Well, what the? Okay.
I told you like 5 minutes ago, seconds ago.
Okay.
Look at me.
Hello.
Let's record it.
This is Caroline. 03 Envoy. She is cooled. She's a closed coolant loop. Now the heater core, that's the thing that allows heat from the engine and it heats up the cabin. That plastic thing right there in the glove box, that is where the heater core is. There's a lot more, there's air conditioning stuff in there too. Can you already keep Marlon's very ready? My heater hose.
I think he's out.
My heater hose. These are the heater hoses right here. These ones covered in stuff.
The shiny
Alright.
ones.
My cooling ribs and fins, they are in the radiator. Now, if you can see
I can see it.
They're covered in bugs and whatnot, but those are the cooling ribs. It's a radiator. And this is my water pump, and what the water pump does is that it pumps coolant to the whole engine and throughout the vehicle. I'll take the camera for you. Take it. Okay. I'll just edit it. It's okay.
I don't really care. I don't think Phillips would either. Hey, since you can see the upper radiator hose right here with the reservoir, it means it's a downflow system. And like Thomas said, downflow, it means it'll flow downwards through the cooling ribs, making the hot coolant colder, I would say.
Yep.
And it would come out through the bottom, the bottom, this tube.
Okay.
And go through this. This is the bottom lower radiator hose. It would go through here
And underneath
to the water pump.
through the engine.
Yeah, through the engine to the water pump. And if the pressure cap got too hot, there's a valve in there that will let it go through this pipe over to the cooling tank, overflow tank, whatever you call it.
The overflow tank, because it's spewing out. See what you're saying?
And the thermostat is down here. It's hard to get to, so
The thermostat's in this area underneath everything.
and since we can't use the lifts, we really can't show it. I'm saying this is
Difficult to get to.
But the thermostat, what it's supposed to do is, the engine got too hot.
Yeah, it regulates whether the thermostat, as coolant is pumping through the hoses, and that'll decide whether or not the coolant is too hot. And if the coolant gets too hot, it'll let it run through the radiator and cool it down better, I guess. But that's what the thermostat does.
So, this right here is a pressure cap. We talked about it a little bit, but inside of this pressure cap, it's a little valve. Then when it gets too hot, it'll open up, and then we can push down. We need to, like a medicine bottle. Those child-safe medicine bottles.
It ain't.
Okay, so inside of there, there's a little valve that'll open up.
I'm just gonna turn it back.
It'll run through this hose that's right here. It'll run through to the overflow tank. After that, there's this mechanical fan right here. Once you turn on the car, it is powered by the crankshaft, which will turn it, drawing a lot more air through the radiator and cooling it a lot faster.
What are we talking about?
Then.
Okay, good.
And
That's
then
what I thought.
Then there's some transmission cooling lines that cool the oil running through the transmission and the transfer case, but we can't see them because they're really far down there, and we can't use the lifts to show you.
Because you're gone.
But they're down there, and they run to the radiator, and they'll cool the oil that run into the transmission and the transfer case, making sure that those are cool. And then the last thing that there is this driving oil, or the driving fluid, not driving oil, driving fluid coolant pipe. We don't know where the hoses are.
Did you call it power steering?
Power
fluid?
steering.
Drivers.
I'm sorry, the whole transmission. Driver steering fluid is right here. That's our reservoir. So So the pump should be underneath it,
And the lines as well.
and the
should
lines, and
somewhere
some
in
of the
there.
lines should run to the radiator to help cool it and make sure that doesn't overheat.
That
That is
it?
our coolant system video.
She's a beauty.
Pouring the airs around.